Hi guys, and welcome to your daily tarot reading for Tuesday, the 8th of November 2022. Thanks for joining me. I want to use the Radiant Rider-Waite deck for today's reading. And today we also have a total lunar eclipse happening. It's a full moon in Taurus, and eclipses are really significant. They influence us for 6 months. If you want more information on that eclipse, please have a look at the video I made on that. I go into quite a lot of detail. But for this video, I want to see what the Radiant Rider-Waite deck has to say about this day and what energy you'll be working with, because the tarot always has its own unique take on things. So I want to see what they want to highlight. Okay, one more shuffle. First card is the Six of Wands in reverse. Oh, the Six of Wands upright is a success, a triumph, a victory, like a moment of applause. When it's in reverse, it's a disappointment. It's something that doesn't quite work out as planned. Next, we've got Temperance in reverse. And Temperance is a balanced approach. It's listening to your higher self and feeling contented and peaceful and having an inner voice that says, I'm on the right track. I'm going to my personal place of enlightenment. Everything's going to be fine. When it's in reverse, it's the outside world is loud and more important than my inner voice. So I'm going to listen to the outside world, be influenced by it, do what other people or society tells me to do, and I'm going to gallop down a path which doesn't work for me at all, and that makes me unhappy. Wow. So on this day, there's the potential for something to be happening in your life that makes you feel like you've failed. And that word in itself is hugely telling. If someone says, oh, you know, my marriage has failed, it's really like a perspective thing. Because for instance, that marriage thing was actually quite a good example. Like for instance, if I've had relationships in my life, right? They haven't been permanent. I don't look at all those relationships as failed relationships. They were good and amazing and part of my life in a particular moment, and then they came to their natural conclusion, and that's the end of it. It doesn't mean that they were all like failures, but it's that negative approach, as in something is disappointing or hasn't worked out for me, rather than just saying this isn't meant to be or this isn't going to be part of my purpose here, so let me let it go. It's jumping on it and saying, oh, well, I'm disappointed, so everything must be terrible. And let me then listen, because everything is so bad. You see, taking it to the extreme level of seeing everything as super negative as a result of this, that I feel lost. My inner voice is now super toxic to myself, and I feel a little bit scared of what I'm facing after this disappointment. So I don't know what to do. I feel, rudderless or aimless or directionless. So who's loudest? And usually it's the influence of other people and what they say is going to make us happy and what we should pursue. So there's the potential to really get the wrong end of the stick and to say, do you know what? I'm divorced. You know what's going to make me happy now? I don't know, a black Ferrari. Or I need to update my wardrobe and get a facelift because I want to feel good again. It's that kind of approach of something hasn't worked, so I need to do something drastic to rebalance the scales. Because that's ultimately what that is. It's trying to get your power back or your sense of control. And usually when something so drastically negative happens, like, I don't know, you're fired from a job that you love, or a long-term relationship did fall apart, then that feels so catastrophic that you want to do something explosive just to kind of even the score. You know what I mean? So that's the warning I get via these two cards, that if something doesn't work out for you, please don't jump on the extreme behavior bandwagon. It's not going to solve your problem. We've got Temperance in reverse, but the cups are still balancing each other. So it's about connecting with your inner world and finding the positive that remains in there despite the disappointment or the negativity. And saying, I'm just going to, I don't know, I was going to say I'm going to white knuckle through this, or I'm going to grind my teeth through this. But it's not necessarily that, but it's just saying I'm going to have faith that this too is going to pass. I don't need to join the circus just to feel better, I can stay in my house, that kind of thing. Then we have Death in reverse. Okay, and Death in reverse is a new life. And by taking the wrong approach, you can invent a really dysfunctional life for yourself on this day. This happened to me when I was in my early 20s. I think I was 24, and I was living in Australia, and I'd studied in Cardiff, and then I just decided to move to Australia and just keep studying there. And I didn't know anybody, and it was a weird time, yeah. And I was also drinking and taking things, and I got a hold of this book, and I read it, and I became like fascinated by it, and I read it like a few times, and one of the characters in it became like, it jumped out at me. And I read it so often that I kind of became delusional, and I kind of thought that the character like had a vibe to it, and I could kind of patch that into my personality or something. It was the weirdest thing. I was in pain. I didn't have any friends or contact with people. So it was almost like I'd like invented an imaginary friend for myself via this character in a book. It was very odd. And it was a very weird relationship. The character in itself also was super negative, and the whole thing was so weird. So that took me a while to snap out of, and it's that kind of thing. I can't cope with reality, so I'm going to start doing something that seems to work for other people. Maybe I'll try it out, even though fundamentally it seems destructive, in order to manage my life and to cope. Okay, so listening to myself talking, this is really a problematic day in terms of what is being faced. It's like something is really not working for me. I really am not happy with this. So I want to act out majorly, and that could have huge consequences on your actual life as it is. So if you want to keep things as they are, I feel it's important to observe and to step back and not to be reactive on this day, to maintain an inner equilibrium by doing something that you enjoy, like meditation or exercise or socializing or whatever makes you feel like you're connecting to something bigger. Maybe it's writing music. And that's going to avoid this kind of delusional or negative choice taking root in your life and starting to grow and take on a life of its own. We can plant seeds of intention. Oh, that's so interesting. We can plant seeds of intention, and we can plant positives, but also, we can plant negatives, usually without knowing as well. So that's the big warning of the day. Try not to bring something into your life that isn't going to have a happy ending. Like someone who says, oh, I've been, in recovery for 10 years, but now something really horrible happened. I'm going to go to the local bar and have a drink. I deserve it today, whatever. On some level, that person knows that those 10 years were about something, and that going into that pub and having the drink isn't going to have, probably is, just even being objective about it, probably isn't going to have the best outcome if it ended so badly 10 years ago. So it's that kind of thing. Don't make things worse for yourself because you're in pain. And I think we all do that. I certainly do. Yeah, okay. So if I'm not going to cause more pain, then what would I do? I would do things today which alleviate my pain in a positive way. And in my experience, it's not by trying to change your 3D physical stuff completely. I mean, you can make changes, but in a reasonable way. This doesn't feel reasonable. It feels like it's a knee-jerk reaction to a major disappointment. And that then would be extremes. So I think it's going to be things that are fundamentally calming and healthful and life-affirming. Meditation and having a nice meal and sitting in the sunshine, speaking to your family and friends, all those kind of good, simple pleasures in life. Yeah. And then we've got the daffodils here. Daffodils to me say Easter, and Easter is transformation and rebirth. So if you are kind of avoiding a negative or delusional future self, then of course you can also build a much more successful and self-realized you in future by simply refusing to listen to the outside noise and saying, I'm deliberately going to take care of myself, and if the inner voice is blocked out or I can't hear it or it's fuzzy, I'm going to even make an effort to connect with that inner voice, because on this day, that's what's most important. Wow. Okay, so number-wise, And you know what's also interesting is usually if I get cards that are in reverse like this, I usually read them both ways around, but on this day it feels right to just read them like this. So something fundamentally is turned upside down, I feel. Okay, so we've got 6, and this is 14. 14 and 6 is 20. And then we've got 13, so that's a 33. No, is it? I think we had 33 yesterday, and I never get 33. Well, obviously I do, like once in a while. Rarely. I get 33, very rarely. And to have it 2 days in a row is really, that's significant. So 13 and 6 is what, 19? And then 14 is 23, 33. Yeah. So 33, someone in the comments yesterday, I said it wasn't a master number. Someone in the comments said it is a master number, and it is a controversial thing. Like some people say it is, some people say it isn't. I don't care really whether it is or isn't. To me, it's significant that when two numbers are together like that, it's like yes, yes, or no, no. It's like 3, 3. It's like double the message, right? So 3 is about communication and new beginnings. And 33 then is communication with a higher being. It's like the higher realms are reaching out to you. And we've got an angel at the middle. I mean, so the angels are speaking to you. The higher realms, your guides, they're kind of knocking on the window saying, hello, we need to get your attention, please. We're trying to get you to listen to the inner voice. That's where the truth is. Please do that today. Don't listen to the outside noise, and don't gallop off in the wrong direction, please. Don't take the path of pain and suffering. Continue with the path of enlightenment and joy and well-being. Yeah, so that inner voice is super, super important, because that's the one that's going to be right today. Okay, so I hope you have a great time despite all this intense energy. If you would like a personal reading with me, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. On the front page, click on book your reading, to order your reading with me. And I use the tarot, astrology, and numerology in my personal readings. I combine all 3 systems. If you have a question about your life purpose, what's next, what to change, what to leave behind, relationships, finances, anything at all, please do get in touch with me for a personal reading. And if you like this video, then give it a thumbs up. Please hit subscribe and share it online. Have a look at the video on the eclipse. Have a wonderful day, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.